My name is Paul Privateer, and I founded NoSchoolViolence.org because I had personally had an experience in which two of my graduate students at Arizona State University in a matter of 6 months committed suicide. And the best that people could come up with was that most people who commit suicide don't give you very much signs of their behavior. And so I just no longer took the assumption that there aren't signs. We have to find them. And so several of us, colleagues of mine, decided that we'd start looking at big data, unstructured, lots of material, and start analyzing it for are there patterns in adolescent behavior. What we've figured out was if you could actually start putting strings of pattern behaviors together, poor grades, becoming more antisocial, a breakup with his girlfriend, hostility and anger that is not really justified given the situation, and you put that into the search query using Elasticsearch, how would those strings correlate to the 12 recognized risk factors of violence? Everything from cyberbullying, sexual harassment, weapons use, fighting, drug use, and whatnot. So what Elasticsearch allows us to do is to be able to ingest a lot of data, discover patterns, and then be able to use those patterns to tie them to a particular type of violence or likelihood of a relative risk of that violence. And then teachers with principals and with the school site counselors can really then see what these patterns are, and teachers can see if they're adding similar, if they have the same kinds of concerns for the same student. And then even more importantly, with future functionality, with a little bit more complex use of Elasticsearch, a principal can get essentially a grid, a map of what are these kinds of patterns that are most often being seen at this school. And then how do you create a much broader intervention program that deals with children in a much more precise and accurate way. So they're embedded in big data are patterns that we can't see. And that's why we're using Elasticsearch to be able to take on big data and to give educators a much better sense of how behavior correlates to violence. Anyone who has any kind of desire to help us, we will find a place for them, and absolutely find a place for them, because we want to create this as finally a national initiative. It'd be so wonderful to be able to then start having shared data and shared communities helping each other. Violence just doesn't occur out of some vacuum. It's a long process, and if you can disengage some of those elements prior to that process, you're really doing a good job.